the Next in Line podcast, where we are helping to prepare you for whatever is next in line. As always, I'm your host, Chance Pitts, and I would like to thank you for tuning in to this episode. Guys, thank you so much to everyone who has been sharing the podcast with people who might benefit from the show. Thank you to those who have left us a rating, a review, who have subscribed, who have interacted with us on these different platforms with the podcast. That's a huge way that we move in the right direction and grow and reach more people that we can help as a movement. Additionally, thank you for those who are interacting with us and shooting us messages and reaching out on social media. You can find us at Next in Line Development on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. I love talking to people, love helping people there. Been able to interact with a lot of different teammates there in order to spread some information and some positivity as well. Guys, on this Thursday, I had an awesome experience today. We had a get-together for our company. We had a fiesta. We cooked some fajitas. It was an employee appreciation kind of thing. There was drinks. There was music, just hanging out. Gave out a lot of door prizes. Gave out some PTO days for employees, just showing how much we appreciate their work through the first quarter of this year. And one of the things that was cool about it from a personal and a selfish standpoint is that news has gotten around as some of these people have requested me on Facebook to be my friend and everything like that. They're starting to see and find pictures of the me from a year ago whenever I still weighed around 230 pounds or so. And they see me now, and everyone is taken aback. And as word starts to spread, everyone comes up to me, and they're just so surprised at who I used to be. Which, guys, that's where I've talked about it before, but look for motivation in everyday life. Look for motivation in these different places. It was a huge motivating factor and a very positive thing for me whenever all of these people came up to me and they could not believe that I was that person. What that tells me is how they see me now as someone with healthy habits, someone who cares about my fitness and my health and the way that I look and the way that I appear to others, but also the way I carry myself for myself. It shows that everyone sees me as somebody that could never be like that. And it tells me that I am in the right mindset and I'm in the right place and I've got the right habits and attitude built for this situation. It also tells me that, I'm never going back to that situation. Come hell or high water, I'm going to find a way to keep exercising, to stay fit, and keep moving in the right direction. So guys, that's just a little tidbit and a little extra for you there of finding that motivation, finding that positivity, and letting that burn for you and letting that be a awesome situation that you find yourself in on a daily basis. It's stuff that can happen all the time. You just got to be open to the opportunity to see the positivity within it. But guys, enough of that. We're going into a thoughtful Thursday today. I know it's been a little while since we've dropped one of these. We've bounced around from man to man and some of these history lessons and things like that. If you haven't listened to the history lesson last week with Ernest Shackleton's story, I encourage you to go back and give it a listen. That's one of my favorite stories of all time of just outright perseverance. But guys, what I want to talk to y'all about today on this Thoughtful Thursday is one of these sayings that I can absolutely not stand. It never fails that we find ourselves in these different situations and positions where we feel like things have moved to a point of being completely and utterly out of our control. Maybe things just get too hard and we don't want to push through. We don't have the mental energy. We don't have the physical energy to do so. We don't want to make ourselves work. Today was one of those days for me. I struggled. I'm in the middle of phase 3 right now of Live Hard, and there's so many different things you have to do that I had other work obligations and things that kept me from doing those items until late. I'm also running off of minimal sleep, so it's really starting to take a toll on me. But one thing that I will not do whenever things get tough, and one thing that I will not even flirt with the idea of being okay with, is subscribing to this message and this saying of it is what it is. And there you go, guys. That is the phrase that above all else I cannot stand. I cannot express to you how much I hate hearing that come out of people's mouths. That is the worst expression in my mind. It is what it is. Guys, why are we just choosing to give up in those situations? Why are we choosing to take ourselves out of the driver's seat and not allow ourselves to be in control of these situations? And you might say that some of the situations that you find yourselves in, you have no control. And I would argue that there are a handful of factors in every single situation that you can control at a given time. And guys, whenever we find ourselves in those situations and life gets a little tough and we decide to throw in the towel or just go ahead and give up, who does that serve? Whatever opposition you're facing, whatever struggle you find yourself again, whoever the enemy is, whether it be an actual physical enemy or just a figurative enemy that in the form of a situation, who does that serve, guys? What kind of conclusion do we expect to come to if we let ourselves get to that point of throwing in the towel, subscribing to that it is what it is type of mentality? What kind of conclusion do you expect to come to with your situation whenever you do those things? And what happened to fighting until the whistle blows? What happened to going down swinging? What happened to being okay with being the underdog and finding yourself in that situation? Nobody in our society does that anymore. And it is something that absolutely infuriates me. Think about anyone who has ever done anything hard. Guys, don't you think that Kobe Bryant had plenty of excuses to not play in those different playoffs and championship games? Whenever he had sprained ankles, he had torn ligaments, and even broken fingers on multiple occasions, and he had every excuse in the world as to why he could walk away, but he chose not to. It was a mindset. He didn't subscribe to that it is what it is situation. You know what I mean? Maybe he did. Maybe he spun it in a positive way, but he definitely didn't buy into the just, well, these are the hands I've been dealt. I can't do nothing. I'm injured. So I hope my teammates have my back. I hope they can do it, but I'll be over here on the bench. No, that was not the mindset that he had, and that's why he was a champion. Another example of this would be David Goggins, guys. Anyone who has read his book, Can't Hurt Me, or has listened to it on audiobook, either way, you've gotten the same things out of it. You've heard the same stories. There's a point whenever he starts his career towards being a Navy SEAL, and he talks about this on several different platforms and podcasts, so I don't feel bad giving away a little bit of this. But guys, whenever he first starts his career towards trying to be a Navy SEAL, he first starts that training process, he decides to try to run a quarter mile. Guys, it completely and utterly destroys him. He goes home and he is very upset and he's very discouraged the whole time. And this is a man that is now running ultra marathons. Can you imagine if he decided to just subscribe to the fact that he was dealt a crappy hand? He was overweight, he was incapable, he didn't have the skill, he didn't have the mental toughness. Could you imagine if he decided to quit? Guys, that is one of the best success stories of somebody in that mental toughness space. He's one of the greatest success stories of all times. He's overcome so many different things. But what if he chose to say, you know, it is what it is. This is where I have to stay. These are the confines of my life, and this is where I'm going to stay the whole time. He had a really rough childhood. He lived in a decent neighborhood, but his life lived by his father and the situation that his father put his family in was a terrible one. Guys, think about Chad Wright. I talked about Chad Wright several different times. He's a huge inspiration. He's what got me into ultra running. But Chad Wright is a retired Navy SEAL who almost never even got the option to be a SEAL. Guys, they found a pericardial cyst on his heart that was like 8 centimeters long. I forgot exact length, but they were afraid it would rupture on his dives due to the pressure, so they actually didn't let him become a Navy SEAL the first time around. So this young kid, he was in his early 20s when he did this. He went and tried to find doctors who would have open heart surgery on him and would remove this cyst from his heart so that he could try to be a Navy SEAL. He wanted it so bad, and he was not going to be a victim of his circumstances in a way that he fought and fought and fought and went after what he wanted. He did not accept the it is what it is mentality. He said, no, I'm going to make this situation what I want it to be. I'm going to do what it takes to become what I want to become. And he did. He went on to be a successful Navy SEAL, and now he's one of the most mentally tough people that I think I could ever come across in this space. And guys, the point of all these different stories is to say one thing. It's that life will serve you a million reasons to quit every single day. It'll do it to you every chance it gets. It'll provide you with more excuses than you need for society, especially in this day and age, to say, it's okay, you've had a tough go of it. That's not something that's easy to do. You should try something easier. Or, wow, you failed, but that's okay. Here's you a participation trophy so you don't feel quite as bad about yourself. And guys, I'm not saying these things to be rude, because there's going to be plenty of times when you have good excuses to walk away. There's going to be times when things are very, very tough, and it seems like the proper answer is to give up on that path and try a different one. And I understand that, guys. I've been in situations where it has seemed like that. But I can tell you that anytime I chose to persevere, anytime I chose to take control of the situation, to abandon that it is what it is mentality, I came out of the other side of that situation in a much better spot. And guys, let's be real honest with ourselves here. At the end of the day, if we do make excuses, if we do buy into these facts that life is too hard, that these things that we're wanting to do and these goals that we're trying to obtain are things that are too big for us, can we hang those excuses on the walls? No, we can't. But you know what we can hang on the wall? We can hang the banners, we can hang the diplomas, we can hang the plaques, the awards, the ribbons, all of those things that you achieve whenever you actually strive and try to be successful. Those are things you can hang on the wall and be proud of, whether it be figuratively in your mind or physically on the wall with some true hardware. And guys, let's look at excuses from a little bit more realistic standpoint. Do you think excuses are going to be an acceptable form of currency whenever you find yourself sitting on the 31st of the month and you've got bills due, you've got a mortgage staring in your face, you've got the water bill with the threat of it being cut off? Same thing with the electricity. Do you think any of those companies or any of those vendors are going to accept the excuses or the it is what it is, I could not pay my bills, I couldn't work that day, it was too hard? Do you think they're going to accept those as valid forms of payment? No freaking way. Guys, they are going to need the money. They're going to want to see that, or else you're going to have repercussions for it. You're going to have things come into your life that are not positive situations. And you're going to have to find a way to dig yourself out of it. So it's much easier to give up on that it is what it is mentality whenever you're still ahead. Make sure you are putting in the work where you need to, and you are being mentally tough, and you're being strong enough to push through those situations and go to work every day and take care of business and take care of your family so that you don't have to worry about these different things. The excuses don't pay the bills. And guys, whatever reason there is in your life that you are not achieving your goals, I challenge you to now find a way to make it happen. Don't allow that it is what it is mentality to take control of your life. It is a slippery slope that leads you to a place that you don't want to go. It's full of excuses, it's full of negativity, it's full of victimhood mentality, and it's full of things that don't serve you on your path to becoming better and more successful. And guys, the last thing I'm going to leave you with on this topic today is that you will always see life and you will always see people in life trying to force you to accept that it is what it is mentality. And I encourage you to fight it tooth and nail as hard as you can, because there will always be people that will tell you that you can't break the cycle of being poor. They'll tell you that you won't be able to get that position that you're going after, that promotion, because you don't have the experience or you don't have the skills that someone else has. They'll tell you that starting a business isn't in your best interest and you should just stay where you're at, trapped in the rat race. They'll tell you that your side hustle is a bad idea because they don't understand it. Guys, these people will give you every single reason under the sun to give up on your dreams, to not pursue the things that you want to do in life, because at some point in their lives they listened to someone else who was small-minded and told them that they could not do it. And now they are pulling other people down just like crabs in a bucket, trying to show them that they can't do the things because they can't. And guys, that's something that you cannot let be in your life. You have to remove yourself from those situations and from those people, because they will just eventually make you see the negative side, and you can't allow that to be around you if you truly want to succeed. And guys, all these different stories that I've told you about Chad Wright, about Kobe Bryant, these are all situations that are examples of people overcoming these situations, examples of people not buying into that it is what it is mentality. But even after all of these situations of people taking control of their fate and not accepting the hand that they were dealt, if you're still thinking after all that you've got a valid reason, or that you've got excuses to stay where you are in life and do exactly what you're doing, how you're doing it, and not reach your full potential, then I guess it is what it is, huh? Guys, thank y'all for tuning into this episode of the Next in Line podcast. As always, check us out on social media. That's at Next in Line Development on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Make sure you're leaving us a like, a rating, a review, subscribing to us on whatever platform, and always be prepared for whatever is next in line.